when they contacted me on this.
Okay, now explain this device that you use.
Explain the device?
Yeah, explain this device.
Well, it's basically a harmonic generator that's capable of working through the power of resonance. It generates a number of different energies. Not only does it generate anti-gravity waves, it also generates tachyons, harmonics, gravitons, orgone energy, all types of different energies, and not only but it works basically on the power of resonance.
The power of resonance?
Yeah. It because according to my time equation, which is thought times tuning equals resonance, and resonance times resonance equals time, before you can actually set up a time warp, according to the equation, 2 points of resonance has to be present. And what's interesting is that time equation can literally be proven by what Jesus said in scriptures, where he mentioned whenever more than one is gathered together in my name, there am I in the midst of them. Something
right.
of a similar nature, and not only that, but the equation can also be proven when two people that are on the same wavelength are talking to each other on a telephone. If you will note that on some occasions when you're talking to somebody and you're in resonance with one another, there's usually a time warpage that occurs, and that's because the first person is setting up the first point of resonance, and then the second person is setting up the second point of resonance, and therefore you have 2 points of resonance that creates the time distortion. And but if you notice that when it occurs, there is usually a passage of time. I've noticed, even a friend of mine noticed that when she thought she had been talking to a friend of hers for an hour, that only something like a minute or two had elapsed after she got done talking with her. And the same event has happened to me, likewise, on various occasions when I'm talking with some of my customers. So,
well, how is this different than, let's say, like remote viewing or astral travel?
Well, out of the body is, I feel, is not astral projection. Well, I feel astral projection is a demonic thing.
Right.
Out of the body, however, I like to connect it to out of the body rather than astral projection, because you're usually praying to the Lord first, before you're using it, and that's, kind of like protect you from spiritual opposition after you leave your physical body. And but the problem with astral projection and its techniques is none of the books I've ever read on the subject actually teaches you to pray before you do it.
Right. Well, there's a class in a rank of demons called Shatils, and it's these demons that are in charge of astral projection. They take these people out of their bodies. They don't usually see them. They stand behind them, and they're attached to cords.
Yeah.
In Psalms, David talks about the silver cord.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there's a whole class of demons attached to this.
Yeah, usually when you travel outside your physical body using the HDR unit, or hyperdimensional resonator, which I sell through my catalog, usually you don't, I think you're still somewhat connected with a cord. The cord is there, no matter what type of force is interacting with that individual. If he's a non-Christian, then demonic forces are going to interact with him and try to either lead him astray or else break the ACA cord, which connects him to his physical body, and then destroy his soul. And which more than often times that that has happened on certain occasions, but I think the apic cord is always connected, even in out-of-body travel, using the HDR unit, and it's very dangerous to break it.
Right. You mean if you break it, you're gone. You're lost. You just kind of die.
Well, one time
your soul is trapped.
I did something really stupid. I was testing to see how strong it was.
Yeah. And
I busted it, and I was having, and anyhow, things just started getting clearer and clearer around me, and finally these beings approached me, and they said, welcome, Steve, you know, and they said, why don't you have a chair? We'll get you something to eat, and after I sat in the chair for about a minute or two, I started realizing that they were trying to keep me from going back to my physical body, and so I threw the tray of food down that they had given me and tried to get back into my physical body, which was upstairs in my bedroom, and but no matter how many times I tried to re-enter, I couldn't. So basically I had to ask Jesus to help me re-enter, and shortly after I said a prayer, I then fused back into my physical body. But let me tell you something, after I woke from that sensation, my body was all white, like if I had lost circulation for, you know, several minutes.
Right.
And I think my heart would have stopped. I think it had stopped because I noticed that I was experiencing some chest pains too. So,
what kind of things have you seen during these time travel experiences?
Oh, I've traveled into the future. I've traveled into the past. Carl, he's also traveled into the future. When I went to the year, huh?
Who's Carl? Is this your partner?
That's a friend of mine that lives down in Florida who has bought an HDR unit, and he has made over 100 actual physical time travel jumps using the device. And but he pretty much saw a lot of what, you know, I basically saw in connection with the future. I know one time when I went to the year 2005, I was just totally shocked when I watched a news telecast in that year. I noticed that terrorist activity had moved into the United States dramatically. And not only that, but they were having live executions on television.
Right, I've seen that. Mm-hmm.
And it just totally scared me when I saw this. But what was really strange about it, I couldn't make anything out. I couldn't tell what they were, what they were referring to. And it must have been some different people that start running the government or something. But it starts getting really bad in 2005.
Yeah,
really
they're
bad.
doing live TV executions. Everything kind of ethically and moral and family-oriented is kind of thrown out the window at that point when martial law is declared here.
Yeah.
The Antichrist takes over the world. The United States goes to hell in a handbasket. The Christians are struggling to run and flee and get away from the trains. You mentioned something, or Carl did, about Chicago in 2005. I remember.
Chicago. You might have mistaken another time traveler who went to. Well, no, wait, no, he. No, I don't know.
Okay,
which journey that would be if it was related to Chicago, because he didn't tell me any Chicago jump that he made. Now, he did go to 2150 and worked there for 2 weeks at a robot factory, helping to build these android robots. And but he was asking some people, you know, in that time, you know, what happened to Earth civilization back at the dawn of the 21st century, and they looked at him really funny-like, and they said, well, don't you